Welcome, race fans. Episode 4. Boys, I had to count. I couldn't remember where we're at already, but we're 4 weeks into this deal. Welcome to Watermelons and Woodchips here in the IMCA TV studios here at Boone Speedway. And like last week, we were watching some of the stuff with Lottie after G-Wagon got it all produced, and pretty cool to have him tell some of his stories with us in studio last week.
Yeah, when you've got 100 years of experience and he's got like 70 of them, that's pretty good in the room.
A lot of old knowledge there, boys.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of old knowledge. And I'll tell you, about 98% of the time, he's not wrong in his own head.
Yeah, right.
He's created such an atmosphere here at the Boone Speedway, and I think a lot of that is just him being so bullheaded and so, I guess, can I say self-centered in a way? Because his ideas, like he's had a vision, like he talked about when the Boone Speedway started, and he's been here. I can't remember what he said for time, but I'm saying he envisioned something, he gathers the army, and he makes shit happen.
Well, and like he talked about it. It's like he's like, I never had an original idea in my life, and that's something that he says to me all the time. He's like, you don't got to reinvent the wheel every time. You just got to take an idea you like and transform it into how you want it to be.
Well, and we've talked about too, he's a persona. He is right. Like Lottie is the guy you see at the racetrack when the heat's on and everything else. Robert Lawton, you might run into him at McDonald's in Waukee and you wouldn't know that was the same guy, but
100%.
Right. And that's one thing that, Josh and I joke about it all the time, because there's people that have literally said, he's like, Lottie's like this mythical creature, like the Wizard of Oz, he's he's the guy behind the curtain with the, the big green face or whatever. But then you pull the curtain back and it's, he's real, like, genuine.
5 foot nothing, full of piss and vinegar.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And, but he is genuine and he does care. Like he said in our interview, like, he just loves racing and that's all he's ever done. And like you said, have a vision and execute, whether the execution is right, wrong, or indifferent, but, he does make it happen.
Yeah, he definitely does.
He's done that for a lot of years over here at the Boone Speedway. Like we said, we've created this palace of which kind of goes back to a couple weeks ago when we talked about, racers being upset about rough racetracks. Mm-hmm. Lottie don't put up with holes around here, and so it just everything that he's done over the course of the years, bringing the farming thing, and as you can tell now, a lot of the racetracks have an intermission, which pisses me off most of the time. It's like, just because their farm session's an hour, not 12 minutes,
right?
So tracks out there that do the farming, we do appreciate it when it does seem like it's going to rubber. But there's times also too where it's like, God damn, I'm following the water truck out on the racetrack again, and I'm starting dead last. So it makes it tough sometimes. For whatever reason here at the Boone Speedway, I mean, Super Nationals is kind of a different deal because you've got to have those farm sessions in there to get that track surface back up there, or it is a snooze fest. Mm-hmm. Some of these other racetracks, when we're racing on Wednesday nights, no, Mike, that's not a jab at you, Mike Van Genderen. I'm just saying, you got Oskaloosa. There are other racetracks that race on a weeknight or a special or whatever. We're losing the crowds. We talked about the introductions at Super Nationals and stuff, and the timing of it and everything. So it's a great thing. And I think it's great that a lot of the tracks now have the fundage and the resources to have a Lele or a Spring Tooth. I know, Marshtown picked up a Spring Tooth this last year. I think the Spring Tooth is the way to go. The Lele, they're great machines. Have you guys seen that new slicer deal that they're making? That, God damn, I don't even know what it's called.
Does it look like a tiller?
Well, it's got... Gosh, I think Mason City has one, I think. And that's the only track that I know or that I've seen a post about it. But they're making these, I can't even remember. We're going to have to look that up because I think that that's going to be a thing of the future. It's a not a spring tooth. There's not a lot of the old spring tooth stuff left unless it's an antique in somebody's field, which old Velvet Lips got pretty lucky. It sounds like on his, he found it somewhere in Illinois or somewhere, But it's good that the racetracks do that. But at the same time, it does extend the program. And then most of the time, we might be punished for that because time limits and stuff like that, But Boone Speedway always doing Boone Speedway stuff. I think they have more sheep's foot than anybody,
Yeah. Speaking of Boone Speedway stuff, I've teased this for the last 2 weeks. I got to actually come out with it. I've had enough people text me about it. The catwalks. We've got to, we do have to do something about where they meet the ground. Exactly what that's going to be, I don't think we know 100%, probably concrete, but there is going to be something go into place, like protecting the cars from that.
In the defense of the Speedway on this, I have been coming here a long time, and I've seen 2 cars get into that, actually the same leg in that same corner. One was a sport mod guy, and honestly, I thought he was dead. If we wouldn't have put his, it was right when IMCA made it to where, your seatbelt tabs used to just be had a tab on your car. Well, now they have a rule where those seatbelt tabs must be mounted to the main cage of the car. Well, the guy that did that, Jesse McCullough, the old 33, the old dead sexy.
Old dead sexy, yeah.
The old dead sexy. I mean, throttle stuck. He took his 7-inch rod motor clean off of turn 1. And I just remember going over there, and the wrecker, his car was in 3 pieces. The rear end, the tail ripped off from the back of the car. He gets out confused like... I'm pretty sure it was a 4th of July show.
I remember that. Yeah.
Like,
wasn't good.
As a chassis builder, that was, or being in the industry, that was my first, and I didn't even build the car. It was an old Harris car, but it was just a freak accident, but I was almost not shooken up from it, but it just really made me think. I told Jesse, I'm like, dude, you're lucky we fixed that 2 weeks before that.
Right.
Because he'd have been dead.
Yeah. So what can you, I know the seatbelt thing, like you're talking about that, but what else can you learn as a chassis builder on something like that? Can you look at something like that and pull some information from that?
I don't think so. I mean, you're always learning something, right? So, but freak accidents happen.
Yeah.
It's like Jimmy Gustin. This year, Wednesday at the Super Nationals, goes in, something happened. No one knows. A lot of people say it's that 4-inch, the shock rule. Bullshit. And in my opinion, bullshit. It was the smooth corner. We talked about that. But he just went in there and the car was already up. So I don't, people are saying that that 4-inch rule, the car is doing this, and that's what's, starting the initial of it. But when the car's already up, and per se, a lot of the guys are running that shock, fully extended at that point. I mean, how is the shock doing that? I don't know.
Because he didn't have a flat, right? It just dumped over.
He just went in and dumped over, and I mean, I've seen Ben Cates do that at Knoxville. Matt Avila, I mean, he had a little help from the 193. It was a racing deal, but same deal. I mean, they got a little contact. He went in there, and it junked his car. It's just a freak deal. Dallin Murdy, there was a big fuss brought up about that, and it's like, guys, now wait a minute. Think about what we're doing here. You look at an accident on the highway, 60, 70 mile an hour accident on the highway. The airbags are going off. Usually the cars are completely totaled. The point of it all is, in my opinion, as a chassis builder and being in the industry, is the kid's alive. Jimmy's alive. Zach Vanderbeek. I mean, in my opinion, Tanner Black's roll on the front stretch was way worse than Zach's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a freak deal. So it is something that we, you definitely take a look into, and stuff. But at the end of the day, the race cars did their job. All those guys went home. Whether they have a concussion or something happens, I know that some of those drivers had their helmets examined. Took them over to Velocita. They're here, a vendor here at the Super Nationals during that week, and had them check those out, and they all checked out good, as to my knowledge.
Yeah.
From the rumors, I didn't personally see that, but it's just a freak deal. I mean, it's kind of like when the flag stand, Colby Fett.
Yeah.
He took a hell of a tumble on the front stretch. Well, what do? We're 3-4 wide. Boys, we're racing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Tanner Black thing, Colin Hidman tried threading the needle on the outside. Now, if that would have been the guardrail, way nastier.
Oh yeah.
It'd have ate it.
100%.
Yeah.
But-
But chewed it up.
Right. So I think as a chassis builder, and with those freak things happen, you just got to take with it as like, okay, nobody got hurt, and, nothing, the driver's okay, the race cars can be replaced.
Yeah.
Well, and we're going to crash cars, right?
Right.
Like, that's just part of the nature of the beast.
Yeah,
like,
we don't want to.
Right.
But we
it's
are going
It's
to.
inevitable.
Sure.
You have 24 to 33 guys out there at any, one time going as fast as they can, trying to win a race, especially on a place like Boone Speedway that's basically 2 drag strips with 2 hairpin turns on the ends of them, and we're going to crash. Like, it's part of the deal. And I think that the innovations, like you said, you're building cars, and I've been around and worked for chassis builders and stuff as well. So like, I've seen the evolution of it too. Like, they've all gotten better.
Oh yeah, for sure. And here's the other thing though too. Don't get me wrong. The chassis builders, don't take any of that stuff lightly. Harris, B&B, Paul come out and they started beefing up their stuff a little bit more. And, it's like, what more can you really do with what we already are doing? We've had a lot of success. Here's the other thing. Like, if the Dallin Murdy thing, if that would have been somebody else besides Dallin Murdy, it would have, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it almost probably would have been swept under the rug and nobody would have ever even known about it.
Yeah, it was
I feel like Harris kind of got kicked in the nuts on that deal, and I don't feel like that's fair to them. They made a big press deal release about how, they didn't do the cage and blah, blah. Well, here's the other thing too, guys. Damon and Dallin Murdy have been in the racing industry for a long time. If they did that, they're racers. They know what's going on. They've built race cars. They've been around this stuff. It's a chance we take. Getting in that race car, I've done it. I mean, you can build a brand new race car and go out and 4 laps. It's junk.
Yeah.
It's just part of it. I mean, it just happens now, So I feel like some of the people really were kind of harsh on them, especially Kyle Brown and the gang out there. They build a safe race car. I mean, I've built those race cars. My dad owned that place, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. And here's the other thing. You look at all the bad wrecks that do happen that, don't junk a race car, and we're able to fix those cars. I mean, sometimes it's tough, but we're able to fix those race cars, and knowing that it could happen again. Metal isn't indestructible. It bends. It heats when you're welding. If anybody's ever seen the Scott Bloomquist thing, where he talks about the metals and the moving, and when you put heat and everything in it and everything, you got to take all that stuff into consideration.
And you don't want to build them indestructible. Like, you've seen what NASCAR's done. They've built those things so strong, and then drivers start getting hurt. And the wreck didn't even look bad, and the guy comes out of it, he's hurt. Well, he's taken all the punishment. Anytime that thing hits anything, that driver's taking that. So when Dallin's gave, and Tanner's, I know did look worse, but it gave. When all these cars gave, that's the energy the driver didn't have to take.
Correct.
And that, you put all that energy into that driver, now we're hauling them out in an ambulance. So, yeah, kudos to all the chassis manufacturers. Like, they all do, you guys all do a really good job and keep all these guys safe in a dangerous sport that they know they're signing up for.
Well, and that's the other thing is, if anybody out there, all the keyboard warriors, if you think that us guys that are doing this, and most of the guys that are in the chassis business have been doing it for a very long time. If you don't think that we've exercised every way possible and tried new things here and there with cages and the designing of cages and everything. I mean, I don't know if anybody was watching the Knoxville Nationals a couple weeks ago, but Hudson O'Neal went for a wild.
Yeah.
We were in the Brian Clausen deal. Holy shit. But Tyler Bruning, okay, opposite end of the racetrack, I feel like his hit was way harder. And you could tell that it just screwed that thing up. I mean, he hit the wall at 80, 90 mile an hour. I mean, what happens, guys? We don't have airbags. We don't have, stuff to take that energy. We're a walking piece of water. We're liquid. Or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So that energy that you're talking about, everything else is solid.
Yep.
But it's like, okay, Super Nationals, that guy's fuel cell that popped out on the backstretch.
Oh yeah.
We're out on the backstretch, and this thing is literally held in by 2 body bolts, 1/4 inch, 1/4 by 20 body bolts. No shit. And this lady up on the catwalk is like, get him out of the car, get him out of the car. I finally turn around. I'm like, shut the up. You don't want to get out of the car. We've asked him to get out of the car. It's fine. Nothing's on fire. We have the fuel set. We can see that it's leaking water. Hank, I don't know if anybody's ever seen Hank's handy tool on his right side over here. But it's a pair of pliers with a 7/16, a 1/2 inch.
Yeah, it's got them. The sockets welded to it.
Sockets are welded on there. I mean, it's handy.
Yep.
Okay. But my fat ass ran from the backstretch all the way to the trailer. Got a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 impact with 7/16 on it. Looking for the bowl of water when I got back to the backstretch to pull these 2 body bolts out, and then the whole thing fell out. So it's like just a freak deal, though. Like those fuel cells, you remember a couple years ago, the Bullfrog, Jeremiah Reed. The fuel cell comes out of the back of his car and lands on this dude's car and lights on fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that too. Yeah.
Okay. Freak things happen on the racetrack.
Yep.
And this was a freak deal too, where the guy just barely got clipped, but his whole fuel cell ripped out. So I think that there's a lot of great designing and engineering that's going on in the 2026 stuff now. With chassis companies, the rules are getting, they're starting to be a little more stiffer on stuff, especially with the new Speedway frame, which is good. They need to be doing that stuff,
Yeah.
And this is the future. That Speedway frame is the future of the sport. And I don't know if you guys have seen those, but they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and Greg Nickel from Speedway was here on Saturday of the Super Nationals, and he was pretty excited because, I think it's the stock car deal. I think would they have 3 out of the top 4 or something that were on Speedway frames or something, and I know they're trying to get that deal going, but you can't just. I mean, how hard is it to find frames for you guys? Like, you need that stuff, right?
Well, it just kind of depends. I mean, they're out there. It's not
takes
like
a little work.
Yeah, it's not like a where's Waldo at,
right?
Like you can get them.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, it just takes away. They've talked about it. Paul Berger talks about it all the time. You don't have the sandblasting. You don't have the grinding. And the nastiness.
The labor. So the labor's all out of it.
The labor's out of it, and it's there is still labor in it because it comes like the modified piece. You've got two pieces on the right front, 2 pieces on the left front, 2 pieces in the center section. Then you got your 4x4s, and then you got your sections for the back. What I do wish that they would do is, I think it's horseshit. Speedway do better on this, but the hobby stock frame is more expensive than the stock car frame. I think that's ridiculous, but that's me. I don't know the whole stamping and what it costs to do all that, and it's because you've got to get those upper mounts and the rear mounts.
The stock mounts,
but
right?
It's the hobby stock is a beginner's class. No offense to the OGs that have been racing them forever, but it's a low cost, entry level for the sport.
It's your economic
right.
class,
It's just like the sport mods versus the modifieds.
Right.
Even though I am in total sport mods are not a beginner's class. They have strayed away from that. But I also it's a very good class. So is the hobby stock class.
Right. Yeah, and I getting into that. There's guys that talk about prime example, talking to Al Wolfgram when they're trying to they got Ace some laps in Pep's modified, and talking about going, they're looking at which way to go. And I'm like, you're really not that much more to just have him run your modified. You already have it.
Right. And switching from the modified, I did it. I made the switch, and what my biggest things were my, things that I looked at on switching. I've got the same expense going to the racetrack as I do no matter what class I'm racing.
Mm-hmm.
I got the same expense for my pit pass. The entry fees are a little bit, different depending on shows and where you're at. But all the front end parts, the sport mod thing was designed to, maybe they need to go back to this. Maybe this is a good thing for MCA. Instead of, when the sport mods first started, you had to get an old modified chassis and convert it to this sport mod deal.
Yeah, it was meant to use up the mod parts, right?
It was meant to use up the old modified chassis that were out there floating around.
That first one that we got, I think Jason traded a stock car for like a 1997 Dirtworks that first year. And then I think they only had that deal for a year because then your dad built us a brand new car in 2006. So we had a brand new Harris car right after that, and then, won a bunch of races and stuff with it. But so I don't think that deal stayed very long, I guess.
And I wasn't for sure how long it stayed.
Yeah, it actually started off as a Ford frame that it had to be. And then because it was like a Crown Vic deal, I think.
Kind of like the E-mods that they have.
Yep. And
at some places.
Then it quickly went to used chassis, and then from there it kind of took the gloves off.
Right. But, yeah, because like I said, I remember it not being, it couldn't have been that long because like I said, that first year we raced. I remember we got that old 97 Dirtworks car and we were just hacking it up because we didn't know, we ran hobby stocks and stock cars forever. And Bill Bashore was like, well, just put softer springs in that thing because nobody could get those first sport mods to turn like that 05 year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was like watching lead sleds around that thing. And then we ended up putting light springs in the front of it. And it was like, okay, see ya. You know, and then you start seeing more of the cars starting to roll, not necessarily roll up, but like there wasn't much clearance on those because I remember we had to cut the left side underslung out of it, which for the way those cars moved would probably move as much as that diecast car right now, but compared to what it is now where you guys are, I mean, your left rear is up under your ass,
Right. The sport mods are a early 2000, right before all the modified guys went to 4-link stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
With a smaller motor, which, I think is great because we have a hard enough time hooking them up now, and not all the places, but a lot of the places, the sport mods are going just as fast as the modified guys. But back to what we going with this here is like sport mod guys move up that have been doing it a while. Take the chance. It's humbling. It's more of a challenge. But the sport mods are a challenge too, and I don't feel like, it's breaking the bank moving up because a lot of the guys that have been doing the sport mod stuff for a while that are considering moving up already have a lot of the stuff, that they've accumulated over the years, your lowers, your uppers, the springs are the same. All the front end parts are the same. Basically the biggest thing that's different is your shocks, which, however, you don't have to run the expensive shocks.
Right.
You can run, I ran my sport mod stuff for a while. And then I had stuff that I had purchased for my stock car at the time that I then used, the next year and bumped up and went to the more expensive stuff. And it goes back to cheap shit ain't cool and cool shit ain't cheap. Okay. A lot of people are like that. So if you're going to do this thing, don't be scared to make that jump. The quick change gears are not that expensive. I sold all of my sport mod stuff and was able to buy everything that I needed for my modified stuff. And I bought all used stuff. I had a brand new car, a brand new Rage car, but a lot of my spare stuff was used stuff. The rear end that I put in was out of Hunter Marriott's car, and he hasn't raced in how long? And it ran just fine. I mean, I wrecked the shit out of it a lot. You know?
Sure. Hey, when you were running down the backstretch, was that a Paul Budd moment?
You're the Paul Budd backstretch cop.
Well, dude, okay, to the backstretch thing, because I've seen some things about it, okay? There's an area over there that there's like 15 or 20 people that stand in that area weekly. We stand there weekly for the regular season. We stand there for the Super Nationals. All the out-of-towners come there and think that, well, one of them's Jake Elmquist, big sponsor of the Boone Speedway. He's got 2 kids that race. So he's always up there watching his kids. Well, you know, when you're in the heat of the moment, you know, you start creeping out further and further and further and further away. And what freaks me out, what freaks me out is my dad got hit by a drive shaft there one time. You know, Don Portwine hit this drive shaft coming off of turn 2, going into turn 3. This thing shoots up in the air like a rocket ship, goes over the catwalk. They turn around and they start running back. My dad slows down. Everybody slows down thinking that there's no way. And then wham, this thing comes down. Almost killed my dad.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, it was, my Aunt Mary had 6 husbands that next day because they wouldn't let anybody in the hospital and into the intensive care room. But so it knocks him down. He gets in the car, goes out, wins. We actually have to take the roof and everything. I mean, he can't get out of the car. Well, what it did was it bruised all of his innards, all of his organs. And so if you would have just pushed on him, he would have bled to death. Oh, man. So that's what freaks me out about it, even though my dumb ass is still out there. But
man, I sit there with Lottie on his gator right there.
Right.
I know the you know, like right that spot right coming out. You have the big tall concrete wall, but you know, I'd be lying if it didn't cross my mind a few times where I'm just like sitting here, you know, and he does it the whole time, every time.
Well,
and I'm like, and you sat there with him too.
Everybody go, Todd, you know, it's like our little thing right there. You know, even though the ambulance is only 20 feet away, somebody was standing there. It was a gal, and a wheel weight came off of the race car and went inside of her body. Oof. I don't know what year that was, but we were talking about that. Like, and so come Super Nationals times, everybody thinks, oh, well, these guys are doing it. But it's like there's a difference between standing in the line of respect of being over there because, you know, they get the rope out and then you're screwed. Well, then I'm pissed because it's like, guys, just be respectful of it, you know, and everybody's rude to the track officials, Jeff or the ambulance guy. I can't even think of his name. But anyway, it's like, you know, quit doing that. Quit being a dick on the backstretch. I had to be a dick twice this year. And
that's where Paul Budd came from.
Paul Budd, yeah. I was Paul Budd and like hardcore over there. And then they started backing the tractor in there, you know, and everybody was sitting up on it and it was kind of a thing. And it's like the other thing is I feel like all of us have been standing in that spot for so long, we pay attention. Like if somebody's coming off the racetrack on a 4-wheeler, like sometimes you know, Hank and Rod and them, they'll fly over the racetrack while a race is going on because they need to go here, there, or wherever they're going. Well, if they're not paying attention and they slow down, they're pissed.
Sure.
Well, I don't like when they're pissed off.
Right.
You know,
right.
They're just not happy about it.
Well, yeah, and another piece of that too is we have fans and we have people that get pissed off when we throw an instant yellow for a drive shaft. That right there is why we do it, because you don't ever know what's going to happen to that thing, and it's better safe than sorry.
Correct. And, you know, back to this whole catwalk thing, we kind of talked about that. I seen some people on the internet bitching about, you know, people being passed out or, you know, just smoking on the catwalks or camping. Yeah, like get out of the spot. Don't make them go Nazi here. They're going to neuter us. That's what they're going to do. They're going to neuter us on the catwalks.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of pissed off people.
Yep.
Right. Well, should we go to our first break here on that, and then we'll come back, go over some points stuff. And yeah, because we had some guys that raced here weekly that did well in our IMCA national, regional, state points.
Talk some national points and track points.
So we'll come back from the break. We'll send it over to commercials for P1P Canopy and Logue Fabrication. And when we come back, we'll talk points here on watermelons and wood chips. This next segment is brought to you by Logue Fabrication, your go-to shop for custom metal fabrication. From residential and commercial projects to auto racing applications, Logue Fabrication delivers quality and precision every time. They're not just fabricators, they're racers too. Proud home to Rage Hobby Stock and stock cars you see tearing up Boone Speedway every week. Whether you need a custom railing, a commercial build, or race-ready metalwork, trust the team at Logue Fabrication to get it done right. Logue Fabrication, where craftsmanship meets horsepower. We can help you stand out anywhere with P1 Promotions, the home of P1P Canopy. From the racetrack to the ball fields to trade shows and beyond, our custom pop-up canopies are built to showcase your brand in style, with multiple sizes and full customization available. But we don't stop there. P1 Promotions also delivers custom rugs, apparel, sportswear, trade show setups, and even P1P custom awards that make an impact. You can see all we have to offer at www.p1pcanopy.com. All right, race fans, welcome back from the break. Continuing our conversation on watermelons and wood chips. And, we talked about some stuff. We kind of went off the rails a little bit there. Started with the catwalk conversation and talked innovation on chassis and safety features. But one thing that we wanted to make a point on was some of the points stuff and how it shook out IMCA-wise. And first off, I was kind of happy to see Jeremy Mills won our track points here in the modifieds, and he was really close to winning the national points title.
Yeah, he was. He had a hell of a year.
I think how many races did he win here? 7. I think he won 7 features here. I want to say maybe 8.
I think I know a guy that can look that up.
Right, but yeah, true. Get your handy dandy My Race Pass
handy dandy notebook.
Yeah.
That's right. Blue's Clues. Come on. Childhood favorite there in the early 2000s.
But it's cool to see and this too. The guy sitting to our left, he won the IMCA Stock Cars, the old Boone Moose Lodge 104 IMCA Stock Car title.
Sure did.
It's when you come to this place and try to win a points title, you just got to show up and be consistent.
It's tough.
Right.
I don't know how many cars. I know a year ago, Boone Speedway averaged 43 stock cars on a weekly show. I know it was pretty close to that this year. So we're running to B Main every week, and that's great, but it makes it tough. It's a lot of grind, a lot of dedication. But getting that points championship it's just a really cool thing, just because, like I said, you look at the amount of talent that comes to Boone Speedway on a weekly show, and to be able to get that points championship, no matter what class it is, the sport mods, the modified stock cars, there's enough cars here that it makes it real challenging to do that and be consistent for those 24 nights.
Yeah, and to that exact point, we do race quite a few nights here. And that's where I think helps us be successful at Boone is we're racing every Saturday night, and rarely do we cancel for anything other than unless it's raining. Look, this is me doing the Jonathan right. Looking at the camera. Unless it's raining at the time of the races, we're probably not going to call the races.
Yep.
So, just trying to have that consistency, and that's where to your point, we get 40 some stock cars, and yeah, you got to show up and be good every night, especially and we've had conversations like that with us 3 off the air. Like the modified deal is so tough where you have to almost be, you got to be damn near perfect every night out. Well, and because you were in that position.
Right. One bad night, and then that's what the roller coaster effect of racing is. You're running good, so you're on the uphill climb, and then you have that one bad night, it takes you halfway down, and then you come back next week, and then it takes you down another notch, and then you might come back the week after that and win, but it's tough because, I'm pretty sure it was Devin Smith, Dave Smith, and Doug Smith in the top 4 in the stock cars.
A lot of Smiths.
A lot of Smiths. They've been doing it a long time. So to be able to, I mean, I love racing with them guys because they are some of the best, and they race here a lot. And but in the modified class, it's no different than, the Jeremy Mills, the Jake McBurneys, those tier guys in the sport mod class. You've got Matt Avila, you've got Dusty Massolini, was the Mike Smith, the rookie this year that picked up a track championship in the Elmquist Towing IMCA sport mods, and for him to do that was a tall task for him. A whole new car, whole new scene to things. He had ran Uncle Doug's car a few times prior. Talking to Mike, I mean, it was kind of a scary thing for him because he's been in a fender car his whole life, and that's kind of, I feel like, Dustin, he ran a modified. He was one of the only Smiths that got out of the fender cars. And I always used to say fenders were for pussies because I've always been an open wheel guy, but I love the fender because you can rub a little bit, but it will cut down your $170 tire too, real quick.
Some guys like to bang a little more than rub, right?
Right, and that's a night ruiner. I mean, it really is. It really just puts you down.
They're just here to bang.
Right. Yes. And so it's like, for Mike Smith to do that his rookie year, I mean, I think he's going to have a stellar, he's going to be tough. Who knows if he'll run for a national title next year. I'm pretty sure he clinched the Alta points as well.
I think he did.
But then I don't, we kind of talked to him in some interview Bobcat stuff. He was going to play around with a hobby stock, and I don't know if I ever seen him run his hobby stock this year. I think he was just so focused on that sport mod deal.
Yeah, and the thing that impresses me with him so much, it did in the hobby stock too, is his patience. Now, in the sport mod, he drove a lot harder, but still there was times when he could have put that thing in a bad spot and he didn't. And I think that's what won him the title.
Well, and there were times that he did put himself in bad spots.
And it got him.
Like he got, and I feel like, in the sport mod class, you have got to, modified class even too, you've got to be on the double right now. Things happen. And, that kind of hurts me a lot in racing is, I want to kind of let some things shake out and, see how it works out here. And then by then it's too late. So, to watch him, there were some nights where he had the fastest race car on the racetrack and he took himself out. And there were times that he was, Mike Smith's probably one of the cleanest drivers on the circuit. And there were times that his aggressiveness took him out of the race because he'd spin somebody out.
He got the black flag a couple times.
He did.
Yep.
And, I think that was a different scene for Mike Smith. Not ever having those kind of encounters in the hobby stock and being such a respectable driver. I mean, I've talked about it. I've been a Mike Smith fan since Mike Smith started racing. And to watch him grow. And there were times where I could see that Mike was, angry. And I'd never seen that out of him, but he never would show it on the racetrack, unlike me. I show that shit because I don't know, I can't control it sometimes. But
yeah.
But
we're aware,
right? He done a hell of a job, and the Jeremy Mills thing, I mean, he just was relentless. And there were times, same deal. There were times that Jeremy drives aggressive. Cowboy Ray, we called him. Called him Cowboy Ray for a long time.
Yeah.
His first year in a modified, he ran second to John Logue at the Super Nationals, and that was in 2001.
It's a decent start.
That was a decent start to his career. He'd raced in the Hobby Bombers, but Jeremy, I feel like for whatever reason he got hooked up with Gary Myers, the Gary Myers family, and it's really they've set goals and they went after them. And like I said, though, there were times where he had the fastest race car, but he just drove way over his head and would take himself out. And my dad's always told me, in order to win the race, you must first finish the race. And I've done it. Joe Doran's done it. Austin Gray's done it. Those are all the track champions here at the Boone Speedway. And that's what you got to be self-disciplined a little bit.
Well, and going back to Topless Joe winning the hobby stock points. I mean, he lost a couple before he finally won a race because that's what I joked with him. I'm like, man, this car is way faster than the talent behind the wheel. And he's like, I know. I've been trying to, like I'm well aware. And but he got more comfortable, and man, he would just. There for a while, he was racing like his hair was on fire, right? And trying because he wanted to win so badly.
Yeah, but sometimes you've got to thread the needle. And he was threading the needle, and sometimes he got his nuts cut. And there was a few times there. I mean, he was fast.
Oh, yeah.
Joe was super fast. And
have you seen his TikTok? The one where it says it's like a video of him like spraying champagne after wearing a cowboy hat, like after he won the points. And it was like when you win your first hobby stock title, but don't even make the dance at Super Nationals or something. And it's just him spraying champagne all over.
That's a lot of pressure on a guy.
Oh yeah.
Because, all the drivers come here to Super Nationals. And so it's almost like being the track champ.
Yeah.
You need to perform.
Yes.
And so
you've seen in that paying attention to that, you see it happen all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially like, Jeremy was a prime example. Like you could tell, I think that was kind of weighing on those guys at the beginning of the week. Like we have to do well because we kicked everybody's ass here all year. We were the car to beat. So we got to come show out the rest of this week. And you can tell, I just, like I said, that usually happens, the first, in the 1 year that Tom Berry won the Super Nationals, same deal. He put himself in bad spots just because he knew he had the fastest car and he wanted to go dominate it. But I think he got black flagged one night and got wrecked another night, but putting himself in a bad spot. And I remember talking to Tom and I'm like, dude, you just got to chill. Like, you're going to win this deal if you just relax.
Right.
But
easier said than done.
100%.
You guys got the headsets on.
Right.
And put the suit on.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Right.
It's a different thing. The atmosphere, everybody's here. They talk about it in those cool ass videos that IMCA TV put on, all those documentary stuffs about the Super Nationals.
Yeah. Those things are badass, by the way.
You watch that shit and it just gives you chilies because it's like
the
to
restaurant?
me it does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like to me it does.
Baby back ribs.
You know what I'm saying though? Like it's because like the Sport Mod one, Cam Reimers mentions is in that deal. It's like, this is the race everybody's watching and all the big hitters are here. Like I'm getting chills talking about it. Yeah. And it's like the catch shit is the Super Nationals. So there's a lot of pressure on you, and as, okay, for instance, being a past champion and coming back the next year, I feel like that weighs on you too. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's like, oh, is he going to defend? Is he, what's going to happen? And blah, 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 that kind of shit.
Not that I ever drove, right? But I know exactly how you're feeling. Because the next year in 2007, after we won the title in 2006, you feel like you got to go win again. Or, you got to be fast or be up there. Won the qualifier, led most of the race. Long red flag comes out, gets past with like 3 laps to go. And that's just the Super Nationals though. That's just the Nationals.
City.
Yeah.
Heartbreak City.
Yeah, we see it happen weekly too though. We'll be here and a guy will be dominating 18 laps. We'll have a yellow. They might not even finish in the top 4. Like, it does happen.
It happened to me about 11 times this year with Jimmy or Devin or Dave or Jake McBurney or, and I mean, it's a nut kicker, man. It is. It's just like Jimmy did it to me at Marshtown one night. We led the whole thing. Didn't lead the whole thing, but we got to the lead and we're slicing and dicing, and there's a caution with 2 to go. And he's in one of our cars, and so that's a little bit of a different thing too. When you build cars and you're out racing your customers, don't think I'm giving any of you an inch. But I'm not going to take you out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pumped up that they're winning, but I want to win too.
Well, yeah.
So Jim made that comment in his interview, oh man, I didn't want to do that, and at the same time, it's like Jimmy, I feel like since Jimmy got back into the fender car, it's almost like lit a fire underneath of him.
Yeah.
Just like he is jacked up. He's confident. It's like the Jimmy Gust that I knew when I was a kid.
100%. And you can tell, and he'll even tell you that too. He's like, I just want to put this modified away and just go run the bomber and just,
But it's a pride thing, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, when I got rid of my modified and made the decision to do the fender thing and just kind of focus on that since we're building it, I'm like, man, I lost sleep over it.
Right.
I really did, because I grew up an open wheel guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Jimmy, I believe Jimmy is got some shit going on over the winter, and we're going to see some cool things come springtime. A lot of hot news going on over there in Marshall County.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited for everybody to see that.
Don't breach your contract.
I'm not breaching the contract. No. Don't worry. Dotted the I's and crossed the T's. But, it kind of sparked him up. And so when you're racing with your customers and they beat you, you're happy for them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it motivates you to be a little bit better. And those 1 or 2 lappers that get you. The sitting duck, Velvet Lips talks about it all the time. Everybody that's in second, you're in that catbird seat. Mm-hmm. And it's tough because, all of us, even though we're not supposed to, we have spotters. And I don't know if anybody can interpret any of the sign language that's going on the backstretch 90% of the nights on a Saturday night, but your spotter either screws you 5% of the time or helps you 95% of the time. And being bullheaded, when you're comfortable in a spot, guy in second place ain't got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
So drivers do better about doing watch your own bobber. I need to take my advice on that more than anybody. But, quit getting passed on them last, lap or tours,
Yep.
Well, yeah, and then we talked about everybody. Well, Austin Gray. Well, he was our driver of the year this year, too.
Yeah, he had a hell of a year here.
Yeah, and he just... Yeah, he pretty much dominated that.
Was that his first points championship?
I think
I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I know it was Jeremy's first sports championship or track championship for Boone. My first track championship as a stock car, and Mike Smith, Joe Doran.
Yep.
Everybody was first-time champions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It's very cool.
And part of that, like you said, you gotta show up and be consistent. And the way that the things have gone, especially in the modified class, right? You got to be consistent. You got to be good. And if you show up every week, there's a good chance you're going to probably be in the top 5 or top 10 in points just by showing up, right?
Attendance.
And then some of those nights years we've seen it where, I think even Cowboy Ray, he won by over 60 points.
It was a lot.
So that's a night and a half, essentially, right? And because I think he had a DNF in there, I think, and then maybe a black flag one night too, and still won by 60 points. So that means you're really doing a hell of a job.
If he comes out and has a flawless year,
right,
he might win by 3 nights.
Yeah.
Well, and see, the problem is too with some of that stuff is the points deal is where too. I think that it's hurt tracks as far as having a weekly deal is because there's so many special events.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a jab at the people putting those special events on. It's just that there's so much racing. I remember when we were kids, racing was from Memorial Day until Super Nationals.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're, around here, we're starting in March, if it's feasible.
And run until November.
Right.
And I thought it was crazy because obviously, we had Frostbusters and go till Super Nationals here. But when I moved out on the East Coast and did the sprint car deal, we went to Daytona for Speed Weeks. They flew me out there, flew back, and then went out to, I think when I went home, it was like the week after Daytona, they were already racing their weekly stuff in February out there in Pennsylvania. And to me, I thought that was wild. I mean, they were literally pushing snow off the track to race, and they raced. And I mean, to me, we can't do that around here. I mean, you'd burn everybody out. Nobody'd have any money. And I don't know where you guys sit on this, but I think sometimes, from a racetrack side, like looking at the books and stuff, it's not great because you have all those employees working and whatever. But from a standpoint of the racers are going to have more money at the end of the year to keep your car count up, sometimes a rain out or two is not terrible. In
a way, it's a less is more kind of thing.
I love rainouts.
I do. I love complete rainouts. I don't love the ones where we get here, we go, and then we got to go home.
Now, wait a minute. That is on you guys.
Well, okay.
You know who pulls the strings on that, dude.
Well, we're going to pull a few of their strings this year, and we're going to change that answering machine thing, remember. We're going to work on that.
That's true, yeah. Well,
but the rainouts are really good. However, Velvet Lips got hosed on the rainouts this year in Marshalltown. For whatever reason.
6?
I don't remember. It was a ton.
It was 6. It was 6, 7.
It was I think 6, 7 is about right.
I mean, it's really close to that. I got a lot of backlash on that. My daughter sent me a Snapchat of all of her friends at school watching the podcast and watching me going, yeah, 6, 7. I'm like, that's wild. But anyway, Velvet Lips got hosed on that, and that is what hurts racetrack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Benton County Speedway, the bull ring, they had people bitching that they weren't racing and they weren't doing this or doing that because of weather and whatnot, and it had been rained out. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it rained out 2 or 3 weeks in a row over there. Well, then they get all the water drained off the track, and it's like Anaheim over there, Supercross shit. And we went over there, and it was like, whoa, what are we doing? Now people are bitching because the racetrack's rough.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
And like a couple of years ago, we had 6 rainouts, I think. 6 or 7 as well. But it was 2 different times of 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I think that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Do you guys remember when it snowed in May?
Yeah.
And snowed us out here?
Yes.
And there's been a few times too that the racetrack, will rain themselves out. There'll be some stupid little cell that'll come through and dump 1.25 inches in about 25 minutes. And Rod's famous thing is you don't ever look up on race day.
Yep.
I've heard him say that so many times.
Right.
You prep that racetrack. This goes to a lot of racetracks. Corey Dripp's prime example. The weathermen are wrong 80% of the damn time. It seems like.
What about the internet meteorologists, though?
Those two. If everybody believed what they seen on their phone, we'd be in a lot more trouble than what we are all the time.
Well, and this place is such a geographical anomaly. Like, where we sit is, and like Lottie said, you couldn't have put it in a better spot, as far as being on the location, where the way the racetrack is located on the property. But also, the way that comes up from the river bottom, because most of the time, the weather that comes through will hit the river bottom and it screws it all up.
Yep.
So it'll be raining over here at freaking Baumgars essentially, but nothing at the racetrack.
Or south of us.
And I've seen ledges. It'd just be piss pounding ledges and nothing happens here. It's just the weird. But that also on the other side of that, like you said, it can create little cells that pop up. Well, it did at Super Nationals too, or at the Prelude.
Yeah.
So the Saturday show, we were supposed to get rain. It showed 80% chance all day, and it started moving backwards from Ames, and it stopped at Highway 17.
Yeah. Yep.
But then the next day, it rains at the racetrack, but it's dry at Highway 17, and we weren't supposed to have rain. You know, so it's just it's a weird spot, but like I said, once it hits the river bottom, it does weird things. And people joke about Lottie making a deal with the devil and having the dome put up over the racetrack. But man, that's why I think people get frustrated on race day when there is a forecast of 75% chance rain and my phone's blowing up, your phone's blowing up, Rod's phone's blowing up. Why we haven't canceled the races, but it hasn't rained.
And how many times have we all heard that and got here and ran the whole night and had no problems? That's why we continue to do it.
It happened. There was a night this year that happened, I'm pretty sure. And there's also other nights where, like I said, it rained and then we hot lap and then it just downpours.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do.
One thing's for sure, we're going to make an effort.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Mother Nature's rain is way better than a man-made rain on a racetrack.
Right.
I think I love when it rains
in the mornings,
yes. Or a day or two. Sorry, Jerry, but when it would rain on a Friday night, it just makes the racetrack racier, in my opinion.
For sure.
Cloud water's much better.
Right.
Well, you and I have talked about this 100 times. It soaks everything.
It doesn't just, when Rod and them go out on the racetrack, they're doing just the racetrack. When Mother rains, it's the corners on the outside, the everything, and it all soaks in. But then it goes back to creating that little bit of a hole, that little character down there in turn one, which was great and not so great.
Not so great. Yep.
Not so great on Rod and Sarah's sleep schedule.
I know that. I told them that they probably should go talk to a therapist about that and just quit being so caring about it. Like, it is what it is. It's okay. They should watch some other racetracks because there's way worse.
Right.
But they're just not wired that way.
Right. No, and we're fortunate, So I think we've covered all of our track champions, and then Jeremy ended up winning the region, right? Going back to that.
He did win the region, yes.
Yeah, so Jeremy won the region.
Which they set out to do that. I did talk to Gary and them guys, and that was one of their goals, was to pick up that regional thing, which is a tall task, especially here in the Midwest.
It is.
Well, and you look at, just quickly as we go through some of these other national points, Jeff Ray and Jeremy Mills they were in a banger of a battle for that national points title. And I think Jeremy's track championship got penalized because they didn't get 10 nights in or something. Was that the deal?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
There was something.
That was at Algona?
They got dinged.
What track was that?
I think it was Algona.
Yeah, because they rained out so many times.
Yep.
I think that he posted Algona rained out, or I think it was Algona, rained out like 7 or 8 times. So that's hard. Tough on a racetrack, right? Tough when you're trying to win a national points title. But.
Well, and two, with the new promoter up there at Algona. I mean, what kind of, them guys did a lot of work up there. We went up there and raced a few times this year, and the racetrack was pretty good.
Yeah.
And the Salute to Veterans deal, it rained a ton. And I think that they had a few rainouts prior to that. And they're like, nope, we're going to get it in. We're going to go. And it was good.
Yeah, right. Kelly Shryock picked up the IMCA Sunoco Stock Car National Points.
He's got a couple laps in.
Yeah.
His day.
That's his first national title, correct?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think it is.
Yeah. So that's cool because, honestly, there was a time where he was coming to Boone and racing weekly with us, there for a couple years, 2018, 19, 20 maybe in this, and he was here every week racing with us. Picked up his first Super Nationals title last year. So cool to see that for Kelly. And then we talked about the hobby stocks here a couple episodes ago. And you were talking about this before, like Corey Probst and Dylan Richards actually tied in points, but Probst must have had one more win.
Probst got him in wins. Yeah, I texted Ryan today just to be sure, so I knew what the hell I was talking about.
Right.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Ryan.
So between the two of them, they each had 40-some wins. Then?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at upwards of 90-some wins between two guys.
Wild.
It's pretty crazy.
That's wild.
And they're both, because Probst is in Minnesota, and Dylan's what? Nebraska?
Beatrice, yeah, and he temporarily lived in Minnesota, I think, for a little bit.
Oh, really?
I think he went up to try to stop Probst, and I don't think he got it done.
Well, that's what it takes, though.
But
that's cool that they went and did that.
Oh, yeah.
Like Jake Sacco with the whole Matt Loof thing and trying to go and race him too.
Yep.
Jake asked me, he's like, man, I don't, I said, you just got to go race him.
Yeah.
If you want to beat him, go race him.
Yeah,
You're only as good as who you race with.
It adds to the story.
Yes, it does. Very much so.
Yep.
Zach Zeitner picks up the Sunoco late model title. I think he won that handily, right?
Yeah.
And then Lee Goose Jr. Won the Race Saver Sprint Cars. We don't have that much around here, really. I mean, we didn't race any at all this year. We had a few Race Saver cars show up for our sprint car event for Hawkeye Challenge, but other than that, we didn't have anything, haven't in a while because, I mean, their sprint cars out there at Eagle are kind of like what our modifieds around here too.
Yeah, they are big out there. They really are.
Well, they should because Roger owns the deal. So.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. And I wonder, I'm going to get off on a tangent, but like the Rogers, I don't know if do they still have the haunted house out there?
I don't know. I heard that was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, we went out there one year. It was awesome.
Yeah, you left a couple years out there, didn't you? Scare the hell out of you.
It was awesome, but it was terrible. It was like being in a movie. And the way they had that set up, and we'll have to talk about that.
I'd rather be
another time, but
I'd rather be in a rom-com. I'm not a scary guy,
dude. It was insane.
Yeah.
Dan Ingledow was with us from IMCA, and then Kim Bowen, who used to work here at the racetrack. We all went out there, and Roger kind of gave us first class treatment. Took the pace truck out there, and But I don't know if they're still doing that. If they are, you guys, we should do it. I'm not. I'll let you guys go in and you tell me how it goes.
There is a haunted house in Boone.
Yeah.
Out of the swine barn out there at the Boone County Fair.
Yeah. You don't have one. You had one year, right?
My daughter, wanted to do one for her friends. And yeah.
So Kellen, I remember he went out there and Jonathan texted me. He's like, let me know when Kellen's come out there. I'm going to scare the shit out of him.
I was a chainsaw guy. And
oh, no way.
I was a chainsaw guy. I had this weird clown thing and suit and everything on. And just a quick one here on that. I enjoyed it more than what I thought I was going to. Okay. Because when you fire the saw up and people, we had people pissing their pants. We had kids scared shitless. Like it always was like they'd come on the radio and be like, okay, they don't want no chainsaw guy. And I'm like, we're at the haunted house. They're getting chainsawed. Well, then they'd end up leaving crying, or we'd have people blow through where they weren't supposed to blow through. We watched a kid get clotheslined with a string that you couldn't see, because we had it in the woods in my front yard. And actually, I was chasing after this couple, and this young kid stops, and I'm on the firewall, wide open, coming off of turn 4, going down, getting ready to come into and he stops, and I have the saw wide open. And it's either mow him over or take a slight right into this makeshift wall that we had made, okay? But we had it all wrapped in black, like tire wrap plastic stuff. Well, the corner of it was a little wider than what I thought, okay? And I hit that sucker with my right front. My toe hit the pole going into the ground. I have a picture of it. I'm not shitting you. I've never had when you smack something real good and it bruises right away. I've never had that. But I go down, saw still running wide open, And the kids are like, oh, the chainsaw man's down. Chainsaw man's down. So they come on the radio, and they're like, are you okay? And I'm going, oh, man. Instantly I go inside. I pull my shoe off. Ice. It purpled me.
Chainsaw man's down.
Yeah.
Looked like you got hit by a drive shaft.
No, I had road rash on my shoulder. Because what it was is I had like a pole in the ground, like them fence poles that you just pound in the ground, and I stuck a pallet over the top of it, and then we wrapped it in black. So I caught the corner of that. It was like a 4x4, So a week later, they have the Halloween party at the Adobe. And my dad's like, bring the saw up. I'm going to kill the lights. And you and one of your buddies is going to come in there with the chainsaws. Oh, my God. And just because they were having a Halloween costume party. So I'm like, perfect. Get there. we go walking in. Dad opens the door. Well, there's a ramp going into the back. Okay, my at this point, I've been icing the toe for 3 days, every 15 minutes. It's just starting to like feel good. Dad kills the lights. I fire the saw up. I go running in the garage, catch my right front hoof on the ramp, the bad toe, crash into the hallway. Split my elbow wide open.
Oh, man.
I needed stitches. But I'm like still on the gas. Aaron Howell's standing there. And I walk up and he's like this, holding his beers. And we just walk in there and I have the saw wide open in the Adobe with this mask on. Steph's like, you can't do that. I'm like, shut up, it's Halloween. But so I refractured my toe, split my elbow open.
Maybe you should put down the chainsaw.
I did. I did. They've got the haunted house out at the Boone County Fairgrounds. It's $15. Check it out. It's super cool. They've got a lot of super cool stuff going on out there. They had roughly 130 people roll through that place last Saturday night.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot funner than what you guys think it is to actually scare people.
And Jonathan will not be on the chainsaw.
Nope, he's banned from the chainsaws.
Well, yeah, I'm banned from the chainsaws because we're going out to Eldora this weekend for Dirt Track Championship, so I'll miss that. And then we got Marshtown next weekend. So
Harvest Hustle coming up, and because by the time this rolls out, it'll be Harvest Hustle week essentially. So
yeah,
you got to get that. Get the old 69 machine tuned in to go to over there and
get it running good. I heard might be a little contest here at Boone Speedway before too long, maybe before the snow flies.
Oh yeah. The 69 machine is ready to go. Nice. Other than the fact that Wahoo tore the shit out of my nose in the big dance. We raced side by side for 11 laps. I don't know how we didn't touch, but him and I talked about it. I'm like, yeah, well, listen, dick. You tore my nose up for 18th place. Same money. Well, he said, yeah, just take another load of corn. It'd be all right. But yeah, we're the Harvest Hustle. I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about the Harvest Hustle. It's going to be a good show. Jerry and the crew over there's, I think they're gearing up for, last year I felt like it was a pretty good success. They had a lot of good cars. I did, however, see a Snapchat of him over there prepping the racetrack a couple days ago.
Was he sheepsfoot?
No, he was running the grader.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Rod really fully taught him how to run it, just so Rod could still have a little bit of a hand on him. Mm-hmm. But, the work and effort that goes in at the Boone Speedway, Marshtown Speedway, is much appreciated by a lot of the drivers across the great state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Special guests in the tower next week, too.
Yes. That's what we're going to talk about.
What tower?
Grant's coming.
Grant's coming here?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, there are a lot of pissed off McBurney fans, and we are going to find out next week. Actually, I took a car out to McBurney's and had it dropped off, and was kind of filling them in, throwing them a little what we were talking about and stuff, and they gave it a listen.
Did they?
And they liked it. Yeah.
Nice.
And so I don't know if you'll get a Christmas card or anything this year, but they definitely it was appealing. So I'm excited to have Grant here. He's been doing it a long time. I got a lot of questions for Grant.
Grant's got a lot of history.
Yeah. And he flagged the Dairy Brothers series for a while, and he's been
young lad then.
Oh yeah, whipping the sticks for a long time. I remember him being Bill's assistant, on the flag stand during Super Nationals, and then doing the Dairy Brothers stuff. And I think he flagged the Hawkeye Dirt Tour when that was still going, right? That traveling deal.
Yep. Yeah, so, I'm pretty sure Grant did do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Grant will be a good one to have on, and he's the bus supervisor out at United now. So
yeah.
Grant is?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
God, I'm gonna have to go out and do a Snapchat of that sucker.
Yeah. Well, we got to get him on because he just got done combining, and in a few weeks basketball will start up and his bus schedule takes off like crazy. So this will be a perfect time to get him in here. So
yeah. Jonathan has lots of questions. So
because I've been thinking
Yeah.
about shit for a couple weeks because we talk about all this stuff, and then it's like I go back and I listen to what we're talking about, and then I'm like, man, there's like 30 more things I wanted to get on in there, and we're already at an hour and a half. Like this, all right,
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. So yeah, Grant comes on next week, so that'll be good, and then we'll just stay wide open here and try to.
We got to have a schedule release. Got to be coming at some point, right? I know we're usually one of the later ones, but I don't know
for 2026.
Yeah. I mean, we all kind of know it's going to run first Saturday of April till Super Nationals. We know that, but some of the ins and outs of it.
Will that be an animated? What do you want to call it? Presentation to the people, or is that going to be like just a post?
It'll probably be
A robot?
post.
Yeah, robot
like a
thing.
robotic post.
Yeah,
We could see what we
I'm
can
still
do.
sour about it. I mean, I just am.
Yeah, schedule release. Yeah, usually
I mean, I know.
try to have that pinned down by Thanksgiving. I mean, most of the stuff's going to be status quo. It'll be more of like who's in the VIP tower, whose nights are what.
And like what nights the Harris Clash and just stuff like that will kind of finalize. And I realize that a lot of those things got to be done too, but it's kind of nice on the guy that builds it in MRP too. He can take his time.
Got
at
a little winner to
not have to.
Well, too, folks. On a side note of there, with that being said, if you're wanting to sponsor the Boone Speedway, get your shit together and get with one of these guys because you can have this really cool banner put up on like the catwalk and stuff and represent your what you do for a living or whatever it may be that you want to sponsor. Get them the VIP things a really cool deal here at the Boone Speedway. You have free food and drink in the pit area. Not real sure what it's like on the grandstand area. Haven't been over there in a long time.
That's something we're going to open up. Josh and I have been talking about it because that hasn't been utilized very much in the last few years. So we're going to we're actually going to make some upgrades to the grandstand side VIP tower because there's like 20, I don't even remember right now, but
22 or 24.
yeah,
I think.
we're going to have to take a couple chairs out to give us some room for the stuff that Josh and I want to do up there. So, yeah, that'll be available. So then that'll be open all year you can set up your VIP night, basically outing, company outing, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think, typically we're full from May till Super Nationals, and I've already got people asking about Super National stuff, and so I got to get with Carson on that. But so just got to go through, renew the stuff on the pit side, and then we'll actually have that option on the stand side this year.
Which, as a driver, I think it's a really cool thing that when that VIP is open, you guys give it to the winners the week prior. That's another thing that the Boone Speedway does that not a lot of other tracks, not necessarily that they have those kind of VIP areas to do that with, but it's just kind of another incentive of racing here, like, hey, thanks for coming. Also, good job on winning last week. Here's some free beers, free nachos and jalapenos all night long up there in the pit side VIP. The chips are never stale. The cheese is always hot. And I know that because we've been up there several times.
That never comes back to bite you while you're racing in the A, does it?
I have prairie dogged a few times on the racetrack on lap 15, 16. It's like, okay, boys, we need to get off of here immediately. And it's usually when we're 6 or 7 laps of parade lap in to get the caution figured out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's happened. Don't tell me that it ain't happened to you, where you've been down in the infield and all of a sudden it's like, hey.
Well, there's time. Yeah, we do need a porta potty down in the infield. Josh, think we can handle that. So.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
I've had some requests.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, on that note, I think that's next week Grant's on. We'll talk to him. We'll have more preview to the Harvest Hustle, and then we'll just keep on trucking. So. For Jonathan Logue and Josh Reynolds, we thank you guys. There again, rate us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, share our stuff on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the social media stuff, because that that gets our ratings up and more people can see it organically.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe.
I just got a text from Ben George and says, when's the new episode come out? So so there you go. Yeah. So
Too, we talked about this a little bit. People out there, if there's something like, look, question of the week.
yes.
Yeah, we need to work on that.
Like I think that's a thing.
Right. And I did see on YouTube, there was a couple questions that people had in the comments on YouTube too. So I need to get those rounded up, and that way we can go through them. And
Maybe we could do like a 10-minute deal next week.
Yeah.
We'll gather them up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and one thing we were going to talk about was the Who Won stuff, and we still haven't gotten to that.
Next
so
week.
we have to talk about that.
Grant.
Yeah.
That'll be a good one to talk about with
Grant
him.
was a part of that. And actually, I've had people call me. They're like, man, I had like 4 or 5 usernames. I'm like, geez.
T-Gun used to argue with himself, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he would.
There were more than that.
But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, those are some really cool things. And like, I've seen a lot of stuff that we've talked about on here that people have put on the Supernet, like John Strabley. I think is it Strabley?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Sorry, John. He sent me a picture the other day of him and Mike the Missile Molly.
Yeah.
From
Racing Rascals.
Racing Rascals. Yeah. And he had a Racing Rascals Craig Elliott signed Frisbee and stuff and everything. So those kind of things are really cool. So I appreciate people that are doing that stuff and listening to the cast, kind of engaging with what we've talked about on the cast. So keep those things coming.
Yeah, we really do appreciate it. And obviously, the more like conversation that's generated, the more we have to talk about. Not that we need more time, but we'll just save it for the next. We've got to save it for the next one.
Yep.
So, but with that being said, like I said, Jonathan, thanks to Jonathan, Josh, Cody Malakote, and you've been listening to Watermelons and Woodchips. We'll see you next week.